This is KGW News at 11.
I hear all this glass shattering, and it's like at least a dozen bullets were fired.
2 of those bullets hit the man we talked to. Tonight, he's in the hospital awaiting surgery, one of the latest victims amid Portland's record surge in gun violence. Good evening, I'm Maggie Vespa. Police are investigating 2 shootings in the last 24 hours that left 3 wounded and 1 dead. KGW's Art Edwards has been tracking this for us. He's live in Southeast Portland with the latest. Art.
Maggie, it's very different out here than it was on Friday night when that shooting occurred. At least one of the businesses that was involved remains closed. It's a shooting that has really stirred people up around here. It was a chaotic scene outside the Bossa Nova Ballroom and the Worst Bar Friday night. Someone opened fire, wounding 3 people. One of those, DeAndre Marquise, who goes by Soul Luna. He was hosting an event at the Bossa Nova Ballroom. He went outside and was talking with a friend when he was shot. We talked with him by phone from his hospital bed.
I just hear gunshots, and I felt pressure in my shoulder, but I felt like somebody bumped into me. It didn't feel like a gunshot. I thought someone bumped into me. So I hit the floor after I heard the shots, and then that's when I had turned around, hit the floor, and that's when I got shot in the back of the thigh.
The wounds are to his left shoulder and his right thigh.
All I could do was scream. My arm was just in so much pain. I've never felt any pain like this before.
Soul Luna says police told him he was not the target of the attack, but he's not a stranger to violence. He's been stabbed, and 3 months ago someone fired gunshots at him near the Lloyd Center. The father of 2 is concerned about what's happening in Portland.
Disappointing, because this is where I raise my kids, and I feel unsafe raising them here even. So it is extremely disappointing because I've gone my entire life without being shot at, you know what I mean, and then twice in the same year.
While the investigation continues into the shooting on East Burnside, Gresham police have a homicide to investigate. About 3 Saturday afternoon, they were called to the Columbia Trails apartments on Northwest 15th Street and Northwest Wallula Avenue. They found 1 person dead.
I was putting my son out for a nap, and I'm laying in bed with him, and I hear about 5 or 6 gunshots go off. And I couldn't tell if it was gunshots or a car backfiring, so I immediately jumped up, ran to the window, didn't see anything. Then I ran to the front door, make sure I locked it, and then soon thereafter heard a bunch of sirens.
Brian Galindo says having that happen with his 16-month-old son by his side got his attention.
It's a little bit unsettling to know that this happens at 3 o'clock during the day.
At this point, there have not been any arrests in either case. If you know anything about these incidents, the one here in Portland or the one in Gresham, you are asked to call police. Maggie?
Art Edwards live for us. Art, thank you so much. As those investigations continue, more violence broke out tonight. At least 1 person is dead after a shooting near I-5 and North Anchor Way. In that case, a car pulled up to an officer around 6 and told them of the nearby incident. So when the officer arrived, they found the victim severely injured and began performing CPR. EMS eventually arrived, but the person was pronounced dead at the scene. No arrests have been made, and anyone with information is again asked to call Portland Police. Police also want to know if you've seen this woman, Madeline Kramer. The 26-year-old is actually wanted in Denver, Colorado for felony vandalism. Denver police say she damaged a church, but they didn't go into specifics. They did say they got a tip that Kramer was now in Portland. So if you see her, contact police. Turning now to the pandemic, the state of Washington is reporting its first cases of the Omicron variant. Officials announced they're tracking 3 cases in 3 separate counties, Thurston, Pierce, and King. They do not believe the cases are related. The patients are 2 men and 1 woman. All are in their 20s and 30s. We still don't know a lot about the Omicron variant, including the severity of the disease or how effective current vaccines are against it.
We also do not know the travel history for these individuals as of yet. That, as well as vaccination status, are key details that we expect to learn more as we continue our investigation efforts in the coming days. So it is early, but we felt we should share as early as possible with you, the media, and our community.
And of course, while so much is still unknown, doctors are encouraging everyone to get vaccinated. And if you've been vaccinated, get that booster shot if it is your time. They say this is especially important for kids and people with chronic health conditions. A little closer to home, Portland firefighters said goodbye to one of their own today who fought cancer until they said he just couldn't fight anymore. Lieutenant Jerry Richardson passed away on November 19th, and today Portland Fire celebrated his life. Richardson's cancer is believed to have been caused by his career fighting fires, and it's becoming all too common for this type of cancer. According to the CDC, firefighters have a 9% higher risk of being diagnosed with cancer, and they have a 14% higher risk of dying from cancer than the general U.S. population. Today, many of those we spoke with are mourning the loss of their friend.
I've spoke to so many people today that worked with Jerry that were so touched by him. And this is what our society needs, is coming together in the name of love, not the angers and frustrations we face in today's world. And I'm just so proud for my buddy that he got to see this, because he's here with us today. He's here.
Richardson is survived by his wife, Heather, his children, Eddie and Kaylee, his father, Harold, and his mother, Sharon. Let's pivot now to a famous and famously bizarre chapter in Oregon's history that's kind of resurrecting itself in Antelope, Oregon. A historic building used by the Rajnishis when they took over that central Oregon town is up for sale. Christelle Kumwe explains.
Today, not many live in the town of Antelope.
I think it's somewhere between 40 to 50 people. It's pretty much a ghost town.
A different scene from the 80s. The first Rajnishis arrived in Central Oregon in 1981. The group bought a cattle ranch near the tiny town of Antelope and started setting up what would become a settlement of thousands of people.
It was 64,000 acres, big place, and they started moving their people in for this, following the Bhagwan, who was the spiritual leader.
The commune first took over the town of Antelope, then tried to take over the Wasco County government, along the way poisoning more than 700 people with salmonella in salad bars. It all ended when the Bhagwan was arrested and deported. Several others went to prison. The people left, but the structures stayed.
The minimum price is $258,500.
And now one of the Rajnishi's old buildings is on the market.
This was a commercial building. It's zoned commercially, and they apparently bought it and used it as their printing house and as an office space. And I guess they had pretty wide distribution.
Real estate broker John Gill says the 3,000 square feet two-story building was built in 1898. Current owners bought it in the mid-90s and ran it as a museum.
So anybody who buys the property will get assigned all those Rajnish items.
Realty Marketing Northwest is in charge of the auction.
The published reserve price is $258,500. That means that at that number or above, it sells.
So far, about 20 bid packages have gone out to people interested in making a pit stop here in the town of Antelope.
Just kind of a quiet place in a sleepy little town, pretty close to some great outdoor recreation. And so if you're looking for a little quiet time, want to get out of the big city.
There you go. There's the pitch. That was Christelle Kumwe reporting. The auction deadline for that property is December 8th at 5 p.m. And the High Desert Museum near Bend will open a display with Rajneesh-era items from that building. It starts in January and runs through October.